Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm Kayla, I'm mum to a toddler who's nearly 3 and I'm also a childminder. On my channel I tend to share kind of play ideas, activity ideas, anything to do with kind of the Montessori approach. I am Montessori-inspired, so I'm not strict Montessorian. I love kind of open-ended play, anything to do with bringing nature into play, the more kind of holistic approach, kind of following the child and just kind of letting them be free and kind of lead their own play. So that's the kind of approach that I have. So yeah, do check out my other videos if you're new here, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So this video is kind of following a question that I was asked by a couple of people on Instagram about kind of nature books and how to kind of encourage kind of nature learning more in kind of reading. So I'm sharing with you our favourite kind of nature books around the natural world, so things to do with bugs and wildlife and anything growing. Yeah, so I'll share those with you and hopefully they are helpful. So this is the first one, which is an Usborne Peep Inside book called Bug Homes. We actually have two of these. We've got In the Garden and then we've got Bug Homes. So these are really good for kind of a younger toddler, all the way up to kind of like 4 or 5, because they've got the flaps, it makes it more interesting for a kind of younger toddler, and they're really informative. So they cover, I mean, this one, Bug Homes, covers all sorts of bugs, from kind of ants to centipedes to kind of stick insects and caterpillars. So yeah, they're really informative, but they're also quite simple, so it's not too much kind of information for a toddler. And the Peep Inside the Garden is really cool because it covers kind of butterflies, all sorts of things you find in your garden, even like a compost heap as well, which is kind of cool. And then what's in the shed. So yeah, these are really cool and really informative, and I really like these, and it's a really nice size for a toddler to hold on to too. So the next one is Ocean Anatomy. I think this is part of a series, an anatomy series. This is the only one we have, but I definitely do want to get more. And this is such a lovely book for learning about anything in the ocean. So much work has gone into this book. I mean, you'll see how thick it is. But I absolutely love it. So, I mean, I'll show you kind of thing it covers, but anything really in the ocean, from kind of wildlife to, yeah, so there's like dolphins, whales, all sorts of sea creatures, from kind of the landscape itself to the reef, and yeah, amazing amount of work has gone into this, and I absolutely love it. It's all hand drawn, it's beautiful illustrations, so yeah, I'd absolutely recommend this. Obviously it's not a storybook, you wouldn't sit there and read it to your toddler, but if you were learning about a particular thing, like if your toddler was showing an interest in like penguins or something, then you could refer to this section and kind of explore it together. That's kind of how I use it, and it's always there for them to grab and kind of refer to if they want to have a flick through, and then ask them questions, which they do as well, because they're at quite a kind of inquisitive age, coming up to 3, really interested in asking why and why and why. So the next one is an Usborne book again. I mean, Usborne's so good, isn't it? This is another look inside book, but it's so incredibly detailed. So it covers all parts of the world. I'll give you an example. So this page is on the rainforest, and all of these flaps open out, which is just incredible. There's so much detail here. And this side opens out as well, and then you've got the ocean here. So all of this opens out, and then there's more flaps here, and it's just beautiful, like the amount of work that's gone into this book. So then you've got like kind of desert areas, and then kind of civilization. But yeah, they're really detailed and they're really cool. I really like this book. So many flaps to keep them interested as well. So this is another favourite. I don't know about you, but my toddler is so into worms. Anything kind of worm related, like if we're eating spaghetti, they're always wiggly worms. If we're in the garden, we always want to look for worms. So yeah, we went through a period where it was all about worms, and so I bought this book as kind of a little kind of something to extend her learning and kind of put alongside her interest for her to kind of refer to. But yeah, it's really cool. It talks about earthworms and kind of what they eat and kind of what they get up to. And at the back, it's got kind of facts about wonderful worms. So lots of kind of FAQs, which I really liked. Yeah, this is quite a cool book if your child is into worms. So these are part of a series of 3 called Bee, Moon and Tree, and they're all by the same author. So the moon one we got first because my daughter was really into the moon, so I got a few kind of moony resources. But they're really great. They've got this little cutout section in the front. They all have that. And it's a rhyming book as well, so it's quite pleasant to read kind of as an adult. And they cover kind of, this talks about the moon and it changes on every page and kind of how it affects wildlife and how they kind of view it. And then we've got the bee one, which basically covers the kind of journey of a bee, what they get up to. They're beautiful illustrations and they're really, really kind of informative in the language and vocabulary that's used. So I really love these. And they're really accurate as well, which is obviously great for Montessori because it's kind of teaching them about the real world, but also in a more kind of interesting way for children. The tree one's really cool because it covers all the seasons. So it starts off with kind of winter time and what the kind of landscape looks like, and then how it changes, and what's growing on the trees and what kind of animals are around at particular times of the year. So yeah, these are really cool books. I definitely recommend these 3. So this is one of my favourite books. I absolutely love this. I find myself kind of grabbing it from the bookshelf and having kind of a flick through while the children are playing. And I'm always like, I didn't know that. So yeah, it taught me a lot about growing food. So this is the first year that we're actually growing things in the garden apart from kind of herbs. So we're growing tomatoes and potatoes, and what else have we got? Courgettes, peas are doing really well. So yeah, this was really helpful in kind of following the cycle of how things grow, because it's all kind of new to me and I'm loving learning about it. So yeah, this is really cool for children to learn kind of where food comes from and how things grow. And it covers all sorts of kind of fruits and vegetables. I'll give you a little look at what it's like. So it covers, so you can find out where peanuts come from, you can find out kind of how things grow, what they look like when they're on the trees, on the bushes. Because sometimes, particularly with peas, you know, children would never know that it comes from a pod. So it's cool to kind of backtrack and give them an insight into where food comes from. So yeah, it covers all sorts of fruits and vegetables. It's really informative. But what I really like the most is, if I can find it, there is a chocolate section, which is so cool. Here we go. So the chocolate tree, so it covers chocolate from kind of start to finish and how it's created, which is really cool because there's lots of things I didn't know. So there, I definitely recommend this. So the next 2 are more kind of storybooks rather than kind of reference learning books, but they are centered around nature and we really enjoy them. So this is one called The Extraordinary Gardener, which is all about imagination. It's a little boy who kind of has a really vivid imagination and he imagines kind of a world which is beautifully green, and it's all about his journey and kind of making that happen. So first he finds a little seed and then he plants it and then he kind of waters it and he waits and waits and waits and it grows, and then he kind of starts sharing his garden with all his neighbours and they all come to have a look, yeah, and then his kind of world comes to life, really, what he was imagining. This beautiful landscape is just what he imagined, so it's really lovely. And then the last one is this one, Tiger in the Garden, which is another kind of book about imagination. It's a little girl who's kind of bored, she's at her grandma's, and her grandma starts saying that she's seen things in the garden to kind of lure her out there and get her playing. So she's like, oh, I saw a tiger out there and I saw a polar bear out there, and she's like, Grandma, stop, I'm too old for these silly games. But anyway, she ends up going into the garden and she, with her giraffe, her pet giraffe, and she finds the tiger and the polar bear, and she just has loads of fun. So it's a really cool book. I really would recommend this. So that's it. Those are our favourite kind of books centred around the natural world for toddlers. Hopefully that's helpful. I'll link everything below for you. And thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be posting more videos soon. At the moment it's kind of once a week. I'm going to try and increase it if I can, but at the moment, yeah, it's once a week, and it's usually kind of around the end of the week, kind of Thursday, Friday time. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to comment and let me know your thoughts, and I always love to hear from people who are watching my videos to see what they think and kind of answer any questions you have. So don't be shy, do contact me, and I'll see you in the next video.